friends, welcome back to Vlogmas. It is snowing. It's delightful to be snowing in December here in Utah. And today is December 12th, right? I hope so, because that's the tea. That's the tea I just made, is December 12th. So, let's go ahead and do the tea tasting first so I don't forget. So today's tea is double ginger. It's in my unicorn mug. See my unicorn mug? Uh-oh. I fogged my glasses up. That's delightful. It has like a fruity background, and the ginger isn't overwhelmingly strong like I was kind of afraid it would be when it said double ginger. That's just very good. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorites I've had. Just delightful and comforting. So, all right, let's update you on what I've been reading. So when I finished my last vlog, I was like, Sunday, I have all day to read, and I didn't get as much reading done as I wanted to. I read this much of the Elsie Silver, The Front Runner. This is book 3. This is with the vet and a rival horse race farm owner, and I'm loving it very much. I'm not entirely sure what the romance conflict is, but I really love how central horses are to these. There was a tragic animal death in here, but just putting that as a trigger warning, which was hard to read, but also the author provided a trigger warning, which I really appreciated for that in the front of this. So the vet works for Billy, who was in the first book, and she ends up having a mare die and the foal lived, and they're trying to find a nurse mare, and then she ends up going to the hero's farm where he had a foal die and a mare without a foal, and so they sort of try and get the mare and foal, orphan foal, to the mare to accept it, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful scene. Like, to be honest, like, one of the big selling points of these books is definitely the horses. Like, I love that so much, but I also just love her writing. Like, her books are just fantastic. She's an amazing author, and I just love her so much. So I'm very much enjoying this. I don't really have anything thought-provoking, or I don't really have anything to say other than it's a very good time so far. I really like the characters. I really like the setup. I'm only 54 pages into it, but I'm going to keep reading. So I was also started The Beast Prince, which I mentioned in my Kindle Unlimited TBR, just because I was overwhelmingly curious about what this was about. This book has 17 ratings on Goodreads. I'd literally never heard of it before. I picked it up. My first impressions, I read about 14% of it. It's pretty short. My first impressions of this is the writing is solid. Very descriptive, but not overly descriptive. It gives you a good feeling of the fantasy world, where the premise in this is basically that our heroine is a captain of the guard, and they live in this town where these elemental princes are known to just sort of overtake them and destroy everybody. And so they have to like offer tribute and try to appease the princes. So in this town, there's basically like a keep just outside of the town that has been overtaken by a monster that the people in the town are afraid of. And then they get word that one of those elemental princes came to the keep. And so the people in the town assume that means that he has killed that monster. So they send the captain of the guard, the heroine, to the keep with a bunch of goods like food and silk. And it's a very humble town, so their offerings are meager, to go and offer him tribute, hoping that he will not decimate their town. So when the heroine gets there, she sees this elemental earth prince in his human form. And they are talking, she's showing him her offerings, and there's this feeling of like wariness about, is he going to kill me, and all this other stuff, which is well done. And then she lets it slip, well, I'm just glad that you got rid of the monster. And he's like, what monster? So the two of them set out to track down this monster and kill it. And it's very interesting because she's thinking, I'm so glad that he's here because he'll be able to kill it in his elemental form. And he's thinking, oh no, I can't turn into my elemental form. I'm stuck in my human form. So I'm glad this human woman is here, so hopefully she can kill this monster. And it's just very, very interesting. So I'm also reading that. Like, I feel like there are so many books that I physically want to read that when I have time to do this, I end up doing what I did yesterday, where I sort of like read a little of this, read a little of that, and then just kind of waste time a little bit, when if I would just pick one. But I'm like, I have this one day to physically read, so I'm going to read all the things I want to read. That's never a good plan. So those are interesting. I I don't know. I'm sure I won't be able to update you on these in this vlog because now that the work week has started, it's super busy. This is my last week to get orders shipped out before Christmas, and yeah, it's a stressful time here for me. But, so the audiobook I'm listening to is called The Sculptor. This was also on my Kindle Unlimited TBR. I am very interested in this as well. I'm not quite halfway through this, but this is about our hero who is a very famous plastic surgeon. This series is about brothers who are plastic surgeons, and the heroine and him were like high school sweethearts, felt like they were soulmates. They'd met each other and it was, you know, great. She ends up engaged to a very powerful politician, and it appears that it's not a love match. She's doing that to get revenge or to bring this politician down. But the hero doesn't know that. And the way the hero and heroine meet back up again as adults this much later in their lives is that this politician demands that his fiancée go to the plastic surgeon and get work done, so that she will be a suitable wife for him. And that first scene, when the hero and heroine meet again in the doctor's office for the plastic surgery consultation while this gross old politician is right there. Like, the way that the hero was like, you want me to do what? Because in his mind, he's thinking she's perfect. I don't want to alter her. And then his mind is also thinking, like, I certainly don't want to alter her for your eyes, you know? Like, it's very good. So I'm intriguing. At this point in the book, we're unveiling layers of why they were separated. We're learning those answers. So it's a good time. It's a good time. I'm definitely going to finish that one for this vlog. So, those are the reading updates. I got some mail. Do you want to see what I got? I'm very, very, very excited about this. I ordered this because I'm a huge fan. I do not collect these. I have like one other one that I was gifted, which is a My Little Pony, like 80s generation, which is just sentimental and I love. But I became so obsessed with this show, and specifically the dragons, that looky what I got. I got a Syrax from House of the Dragon. It showed up today with the collector case. I don't know if this is the collector case. I don't even know. But I'm very excited because they were sold out for a while. So now I have one. So let's see if there's anything interesting in here. If there's nothing bookish or fan-related in here, if this is just like more pre-workout or dog treats, I won't show you because that'll be boring. But let's see. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is a gift for me. This is very unexpected and honestly made my day so much. This is from Tiffany from Tiff Talks Pages, or Neverland Pixie on Instagram. She said, "You add so much to this bookish community. I'm so inspired by your strength and warmth. Thank you for sharing your light. Happy holidays." I love that so much. Also, I never really occurs to me to not read the notes, so I hope that that's okay, Tiffany, if you're watching, that I did that. I'm so happy. This was beyond generous of you, my friend. Like, this is truly so incredibly thoughtful of you. I just cannot even thank you so much. So let's see what she got me. She sent me some, look at this, Lorraine Heath. I recently was hearing, again, really great things. I think it may have been from one of you were telling me about this series. So I got the first one because I haven't read that series yet. This book I've been hearing so many good things about. Like, this is a very disarming cover, which makes it look like it's a cozy, like, Debbie Macomber type of romance. But one lady that I follow on TikTok, a person, I'm so sorry, that came out awkward. She was talking about this, about how much she loved it and how emotional that it was. Her name is Beth. She also is the one who turned me on to Restore Me, so we can thank her for that. And I'm very excited about reading this. Like, it looks amazing. And then Tiffany also sent me this, which I love this cover. I love Amelie Howard. I am very excited about this. This is her newest historical release, and I'm so happy. And then Tiff sent me this absolutely beautiful book, which moved me in a very powerful way, and I'm on the verge of tears as I'm opening this, but look at what she sent me. I love this book so much. I read this for the Goodreads Choice Awards thing. This was so moving and impactful to me. I loved and adored it so freaking much, and I'm just so incredibly grateful, Tiffany. This was so generous of you, and just This made my day. I was not expecting this. I honestly thought maybe this was my dragon's little display box. So I feel really happy today. Thank you so much, Tiffany. And thank you for watching, friends. I'm going to go ahead and get back to work. I've got a sick kid at home today, which doesn't affect my life quite as much as it used to when they were little. There's no cuddles and snuggles on the couch anymore, but it's fine. Anyway, I'll see y'all in my next video clip. I've been filming today as well, if you didn't notice.
Up over Mars, you trim a tree, I put up a star. I wear a sweater, it's down to my knees, and you will kiss the freckles on both of my cheeks, and we will sing our own Christmas song.
Hello friends, good morning. Y'all are back in my truck. I thought that I would give you a snowy background since it's snowing. The road, it doesn't look like that much yet, but we're getting a lot of snow today. So I just wanted to update you on what I was reading, and then I did include the tea making, the today's tea selection in the B-roll before this clip, but I won't be tasting it until after this clip. I didn't really need to tell you that. I could have just edited it. Anyway, clearly all these videos I'm making are kind of making me lose my brain power. Anyways, hello. I will include the tea tasting. It will be next. But I just wanted to update you on what I read and close this vlog out. It's probably going to be a shorter one. So I finished The Sculptor. I actually ended up really enjoying this. I was very intrigued with the premise of this. I was really curious to see, like, why was she wanting to marry this politician? Like, was it a revenge plot? Was it something else? It ended up being a little surprising to me, and I was happy about that, why she was going to marry him. I really loved this hero. Like, he was a pretty great hero. I mean, like, he really loved her, he really wanted her, he was very, like, possessive in a good way. Like, I enjoyed him a lot, I enjoyed their dynamic a lot. This book also did something that was kind of interesting because we're learning what happened in their past, like when they were 18, that separated them. We're learning that in flashbacks, so that may not work for people who don't like flashbacks. I think it was done well here because it gave you just enough insight into the past to see their connection. And then it brought you into the present where you could feel the tension of, like, them splitting apart, but also feel like they're longing for one another before. So I really enjoyed this. I was very pleasantly surprised. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It wasn't quite perfect, but honestly, like, I feel like this is one of those books where, similar to a photo finish, where there's not necessarily anything that I really had an issue with, that I really could pinpoint to say, this is specifically why it's a 4-star read and not a 5-star read. But I do feel like there was something a bit lacking in this book that made it a 5-star for me. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what that was. It may have just been, you know, like, I was slightly disappointed at some of the plot things that happened. I was hoping for things to be a little more drawn out. I did notice that. I also was hoping for just a little bit more of them falling in love, because even though we're seeing the flashbacks of what broke them up, we don't get to see them actually falling in love. And that's, like, a key thing that I want to have in my romance. I want to see the falling in love part. That's, like, crucial to me. And I didn't feel like we got that falling in love. We did get to see they had a connection, and I felt like that was well done, and it was translated over to the current time period really, really well. But it wasn't they meet and they fall in love. Like, that's something that I just really, really love seeing that. So all of my favorite books have an element of that, where you see them falling in love. Even if it's a second chance romance, I'm thinking specifically of Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I feel like watching them reconnect was the falling in love part for me, even though I don't feel like they were ever really out of love in that book. But Yeah, I enjoyed this. It wasn't without its flaws, but it was also surprisingly very good. And I think that the concept of it was great. And like, seriously, that beginning scene when he sees her in his surgeon's like consultation office and he realizes that this gross old man wants her to get her breasts done, and he's like just so angry at the idea that anybody else would first of all want her body to change because it's perfect to him, which we love a hero like that. We love a hero like that. And second of all, the idea that somebody would have like that type of experience where they would be with her in an intimate situation just like sends him into a fit of possessiveness, and I just loved it so much. So this book was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm very much, I want to go back and read book 2 because I read book 1. I skipped over book 2 because this premise intrigued me, and then I know there's a 4th book coming too. So yeah, this was good. I liked it a lot. You'll have to let me know if you've read this author before because I don't really hear her talked about very often. And honestly, I haven't heard this series talked about before, which kind of surprises me. I mean, it's not necessarily anything in here that's like, I mean, it is a forbidden romance, and it is, I think this is a pretty emotional book, not like a super emotional book, but it's pretty emotional. Yeah. So anyway, I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I think that if the premise intrigues you, I would look into it. I will say trigger warning for grief. And that's what I'm going to leave it as. So I will include the trigger warnings in my Goodreads review when I write it for this. It's not going to be an in-depth review, but I'll include the specific trigger warning, although it is a little difficult. Anyway. So then, last night, when I was able to read on my Kindle, I had talked to Jesson yesterday, and seriously, Zay has been wanting me to read Funny Feelings for months now, and I just haven't gotten to it. I don't know. I don't know why. I have no excuses, Zay. If you're watching this, I am sorry. So Jesson read it, and I was like, I really want to know what you think about that. And she ended up really loving it. She was telling me some things about it, not too much, just enough to like pique my interest. And so I was like, you know what? I have started 2 other Kindle books. Why not do a 3rd? So I started Funny Feelings, and I read up to 16% of it last night, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So that's, I'm now kind of putting the other 2 that I spoke of earlier on hold just for a minute, and I'm gonna dive into Funny Feelings because I really, really, really want to read this. And specifically, there were some things that Jesson said when she was talking to me about it that just have convinced me to kind of drop everything and read it. And then my next audiobook and also physical read. So the next vlogs are going to kind of be interesting as I'm kind of reading slowly, and probably a lot of books. But the audiobook that I'm reading, Jesson and I also had talked earlier in this month, I think it was November, that we wanted to reread The Bear and the Nightingale series. We both have read the first book. I've read the whole series. I just talked about it in a fantasy romance video. But Jesson hasn't finished the series, and so I was like, we should buddy read those and reread. I would love to reread them. So that's what we're doing. We started with The Bear and the Nightingale. I loved this fantasy book. This does have a romantic element, but it doesn't come into, you get hints of it, but it's not heavy on the romance, and you don't really get the full scope of it until the final book. But I love the series so much. It's Russian mythology, and it's just fantastic. This is probably one of my all-time favorite fantasy books. I just adore it so much. So that's what I'm going to be reading now. So I'm going to go into the gym, do my workout, work for the rest of the day, and then I will see you in tomorrow's vlog when I start a new one, which will, actually I'll see you in a few minutes for the tea tasting. So I'm not going to say goodbye yet. I'm going to say ta-ta for now. I'm sorry this was a little chaotic, but thanks for watching. And also I wanted to say, I've heard from so many of you in the comments about my vlogs and how much you are enjoying them, and I just have to say that I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I appreciate you leaving me those wonderful comments. I appreciate you finding value in what I have to say. As somebody who has never really had a lot of opportunity in her life, in my life, to speak up and to really put into words what I'm feeling about the books that I'm reading, you know, this just feels like such a enjoyable experience, and I'm just really grateful that you're finding any value in what I have to say. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Cue the tea tasting, and then I'll actually say goodbye. Hello friends, I'm here for the tea tasting. So it was mocha nut mate in my cute mug, If I hold it this way, you can't see the design. So let's taste it. It smelled really good when I like opened the package to put the tea in the steeper, but it smells less good since it's brewed. So let's see. That's actually delicious. I love that. Can you see the steam? I don't know if you can see it. It's so cold and, oh, there's a little bit. Cold and snowy today. And that is just delicious and comforting, and I love that. That's been one of my favorites. I've really liked all of the mates, but the mocha nut one, very good. And I also wanted to show you my beautiful card. This is from Esty. She sent me this beautiful Hanukkah holiday card. I love it so much. Esty's a wonderful, beautiful person. And then Christy sent me a Christmas card with this beautiful bookmark. Thank you so much. I love it. Yeah, I have gifties for my book buddies, but will I get them by Christmas? Who knows? Who knows? So anyway, thank you, my friends, for joining me on this episode of Vlogmas. I'm going to drink my tea, eat my yogurt and protein bar, and work on tumbles to get them shipped out. And listen to Bear and the Nightingale. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in my next video.